Hey everybody, this is Kelly O'Black with this week's Sketch It Out Thursday. This is our inspiration board for the week, and I'm going to take a large part of my inspiration for this layout from that chevron pattern right in the middle there. I'll also take a little bit of inspiration from that little black and white border along the bed and the black and white pillows for my border paper behind my background paper, chevron background paper. This is my sketch. It's by Laura Whitaker. I got it from the Stuck Sketches blog. You can go to my Pinterest boards, into my sketch board, and it will be there, and my Pinterest boards are linked below. I'm showing you there that I'm using a picture of my grandson, and he has a beach ball there that inspired the bands of rainbow color. And you can see just looking at that background paper how it was inspired. All right, I'm going to take this diagonal stripe paper. It's the black and white diagonal stripe paper. It's by Bella Boulevard, the Just Add Color collection, and the name of the paper is Passcode. I use a Caterpillar Pro trimmer, but that can't gut paper, so I just keep this little Fiskars trimmer handy, and that way when I need to gut paper I can do it easily instead of having, you know, I could use a craft knife, but I'm not very good with them, so this is just easier for me. And I'm gutting this because I use a lot of black and white diagonal stripe paper. I also was thinking about using it to map my photo, which is what I do with the little pieces of black and white, so I wanted to save it. Now, I'm going to take that multicolored chevron paper, and that is by Illustrated Faith. It's the Whatever is Lovely line, and the paper is named Admirable. And Illustrated Faith is actually manufactured by Bella Boulevard, in case you didn't know that. And what I'm doing that you can't see is I'm cutting 1/4 inch off of each side, and that's because I want to take a 1/2 inch total, but I don't want to cut it all off one side, because if I do that then the chevron will no longer be even, and I have this way the chevron is even. So you can see that paper is just so beautiful. I absolutely love it. Now I'm going to take my gray flannel Memento Dewdrop ink here, and I'm just going to ink each side, and I'm going to make sure that it helps pop that paper off the background. And I just put a little bit of adhesive on one side so I could get this down and not make a mess out of everything. And you can see I did that there. Now I've also been very strategic about how the chevron and the diagonal paper are going together. So I know that I want the red part of the chevron on the right side of the layout. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to also make sure that when I have that glued down, that the diagonals are actually pointing and going down towards the left side of the layout. So chevron's pointing left and the diagonals are pointing left, and that's because my grandson is looking left in the photo as well. See how he's looking left there? That's really super important when you're looking at layouts, because you want the subjects of the layout to be looking into the layout, not away from the layout. Otherwise it takes your eye off the page versus keeping it on the page. All right, so I'm just going to glue that to the diagonal paper, and you notice again I made sure that my diagonals on the mat were also facing the same direction as they are on the border, because otherwise that would have been very disturbing to your eye, not to mention it would have been kind of leading your eye off the paper there. And I'm using mostly scraps from this layout for at least the papers in the center in the photo cluster. I have that Aqua Star paper that's from Bella Boulevard, Oh My Stars, and it's the Ice Stars paper. So I'm just going through here and I'm going to ink the edges of all these papers, and because they are different manufacturers and different collections, I'm using that ink to really help kind of bring the whole layout together. Then I have that green paper there that kind of has almost looks like a little cloud or spots. That green paper is from Dear Lizzie Lovely Day, and the paper name is You're So Cool. And again, just inking all those edges to bring everything together. That's a really easy trick. And I've said this many times before, but I love that gray flannel ink because it's not black. So it's pretty dark, but it's not completely black. So in really bright colors like this, I think it looks really nice with it. All right, so now I'm just kind of looking, and that sketch had a couple of pieces of paper, kind of thin little strips of paper. And I'm kind of thinking about using that chevron paper there as one of those. And I'm looking, I don't want that chevron going up for sure, because that looks disturbing because the two chevrons there and going in two different directions. But I could, if I wanted to, I know this as I'm doing this, that other chevron there, I can cut in half and then I'd be able to point that to the left so that it would make a little bit more sense. What I'm doing first though, is I know I want some pieces, some die cut pieces to embellish the layout. And before I decide how long my strips there are going to be, I'm going to pull out some of those pieces of paper. There's some of those things. And I find this ball, which is so perfect. It matches the Bella Boulevard paper and it echoes the ball he has in there. And that beach ball and then the Splish Splash die cut that I just put right kind of underneath it there are both from the Pebbles Sunshiny Days ephemera pack. That's the brand new summer collection. I guess it's not brand new, but it's the summer collection for this year. And because he's going to be in a pool, I think that's kind of a fun title for that. So I've gone to that orange piece of paper now and I cut it because I think I know about how long it's going to be. That's from Bella Boulevard's Secrets of the Sea, and it's the Finding Fishies paper there. And what I've decided to do is I'm just going to cut out a banner out of it. So I'm fishtailing the ends there. You do that by cutting into the middle of the paper as far as you want and then cutting in from the sides to the center, and then you get even banners every time, or even tails every time. I'm doing the same thing here to that yellow paper, that yellow dot paper. That's from the American Craft Chamel collection, Little by Little, and it's the pint-sized fun paper. And I'm just, again, inking those as well, just to kind of drop them off. And I'm staggering the lengths of those papers so that they don't completely line up. It just looks a little bit better. And then this also now, that orange paper gives the photo a shelf to rest on. So it has a horizontal element that it's sitting on top of. And it's not cooperating with me very well. And I'm just lining that beach ball up a little bit there so that it covers, it's like right under the S and the P and the Splish Splash there. It's going to, as soon as I get that down. First I have to glue down the rest of the banners there. And that is echoing a cluster that was on the sketch. So the paper layers follow the sketch pretty well, but after that, not quite so much, because there's a title on the banners there, but I'm going to decide that I'm going to use Splish Splash as my title. Right now, I'm not sure what I'm doing it right now as I'm going through the layout, or not right now, but when I was doing this layout, I was still thinking that maybe I could put the title on the banners there, or in above the blue, the aqua paper there at the top, or on the top of the aqua paper, but I wasn't quite sure. I was thinking about titling this Pool Fun, but that's such a generic title. I really like Splish Splash because I thought it was cute. So now I am going to my little chipboard pieces there from the Pebbles Sunshiny Days collection, and it's the chipboard stickers, and I find that flamingo, and I like how it's bringing the pink off of the background paper into the paper layers there. And once I find that and I realize that that's going to work really well there, I decide to forego putting a title on those banners, that instead it's going to be some elements. And then I also find a chipboard sun, which is perfect because that was a sunshiny day, and I'm putting that in the cluster. And you notice I'm actually creating the cluster here without gluing anything down, because I was thinking I might want something either in the top left or the top right corners. I just wasn't sure. And then I find that Fun in the Sun die cut, and that again is from the Sunshiny Days ephemera pack. And I kind of like that up there, and I like it up in that corner because it's bringing some yellow up there. And I figured at that point then that I could repeat some fishtail banners up there to bring that paper up to the top. So it's just helping making it's helping make the layout look more cohesive because I have the papers in more than one location. So I'm doing the same thing to fishtail those banners. And there we go. Now I probably could have done a little bit of the blue paper up there as well, but I didn't. I'm going to bring that turquoisey blue color up there though with my, I want to bring the turquoisey blue color up there because right now it's all very yellow and orange, and that I want to bring some of the blue in because the blue is fairly dominant down in the bottom. So I will figure out how to do that. This layout actually went pretty quickly. It only took me 32 minutes to do the whole layout from start to finish, including my paper choices. So, which I had chosen before I actually turned the video on. I usually do that. I usually choose my papers and then start with the video. Otherwise, you might see me sometimes going through a fairly painful process. But usually it only takes me about maybe 5 minutes or so to choose papers. Sometimes 10, but usually only about 5 minutes. All right, now that I have that cluster up in the top left, I'm ready to glue down my main cluster with the photo here. And I have so many different layers. I'm trying to get some tape on each of those layers. All right, and I'm just kind of being mindful of how much space is to each side. I went back to my chipboard here because I wanted, remember I said I was going to try to figure out how to get some of that blue in there, and I found this pair of flip-flops. And that just does a nice job of bringing the blue up into that top left. Not that he's wearing flip-flops, but you know, that doesn't really matter. It's fine that he's not wearing them. It just is a color element here. All right, so now I'm going to my little puffy stickers here. And that is, again, from the Pebbles Sunshiny Days collection and the puffy stickers. And I'm kind of looking around and I find this little pineapple. I believe it's the pineapple there. Or not the pineapple. I can't see what it was, but I was kind of looking at different things. I looked at another flamingo. I'm toying with a couple of different things, and there's the pineapple. So I put that up there to kind of, you know, put a little element at the top there. There was the beach ball in the sun on the bottom, and I decided I wanted something at the top. And then I find a little crab puffy sticker, and I put that down there. So the crab is going to stay. I'm going to think about taking him off at one point. Here I'm looking to see what the date of the photo is because I need to add that in my journaling and I forgot to look, which I do frequently. And now I'm just kind of cleaning up things, and then I'm just going to do a little bit of journaling there on the banner. And then just to give you a little heads up, take a look at the still shots at the end because that pineapple comes off. I put a little cloud sticker up there because I didn't like that little bit of green sticking up to the top to the right of the pineapple. And then I add a little chipboard flower. So those are all from the Sunshiny Days collection. All right, there's the still and a couple detail shots. Hope you're all well, and we'll be back with another layout again soon. Bye!